Miigwech, thank you to our speakers for sharing their time today. We're sending a big miigwech to our presenting partner, Canada Media Fund. We'd also like to thank our lead institute partner, Netflix, institute partner, Crave, as well as Ontario Creates. The annual APTN imagineNATIVE web series pitch competition is back. The 2021 APTN imagineNATIVE web series event is supported by APTN and Bell Fund, with additional support from William F. White, Picture Shop, Formosa, Streamline Media, Innovate by Day, TIFF, and Women in Film and Television. With Toronto, the grand prize worth $50,000 is supported by APTN and Bell Fund, with additional support from William F. White, Picture Shop, Formosa, Streamline Media, Innovate by Day, TIFF, and Women in Film and Television. With Toronto, $30,000 maximum web series licensing agreement from APTN, $12,000 production prizing from Bell Fund, $5,000 in-kind grant from William F. White, $1,600 production prizing from imagineNATIVE, $1,000 service certificate from Picture Shop and Formosa, 2 Women in Film and Television Toronto memberships, 2 2022 TIFF passes. The winning team of the APTN imagineNATIVE Web Series Pitch competition will be announced during the IN Awards ceremony at the end of the festival.
Tanse, Lisa Ducharme Nasiyiga-san, and I am the Director of Online Content at APTN. I am speaking to you from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Treaty 1, traditional territory of the Anishinaabeg, Cree, Ojibwe, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and homeland of the Métis Nation. It is with great pleasure that I am introducing the annual Web Series Pitch Competition, an ongoing partnership between APTN and imagineNATIVE that is now in its 4th year. The grand prize for winning this competition includes a licensing agreement with APTN, a $12,000 production prize from the Bell Fund, and well over $8,000 worth of in-kind grants and services, as well as mentorship for the development of the series over the next year. Ever in support of emerging Indigenous voices, the Web Series Pitch Competition showcases up-and-coming Indigenous creatives and encourages them to share their ideas with a panel of industry professionals. All 3 producer-director teams have submitted outstanding pitches, and now each team will present their own proposal for a web series they would like to see produced. To each of the competitors, thank you for your hard work and dedication. Best of luck.
Hello everyone, I'm Suzanne Lacey, Deputy Director at the Bell Fund. Welcome to another amazing imagineNATIVE pitch event. To all those pitching and to all the producer creators here today, be sure to check out the Bell Fund because we have some amazing programs like the short form digital series program, which supported past participant Darcy Waite and the Eagle Vision team for DJ Bernd Bannock. So be sure to check that out. Get in touch with us at info@bellfund.ca. Have a great event and all the best moving ahead with all of your projects. Miigwech.
Buju ani Jamie Nindishnakas, Flying Post First Nation Nindin Dunjaba. Hello, my name is Jamie Lee Reardon. I'm the lead institute coordinator at imagineNATIVE, and I'm from Flying Post First Nations in Treaty 9 territory. I have long brown hair, a floral t-shirt, and behind me is some art, a window on a white wall. Today we're here for the 2021 Web Series Pitch Competition. I'm going to pass it over to the mentor and moderator, Deb Day.
Thank you, Jamie Lee. It's great to be here. Hi, I'm Deb Day. I am coming to you from Takaronto. I have very curly blonde hair. Unruly, some might say. I'm wearing the imagineNATIVE featured earrings this year, which are my new favorite pair, and I wear glasses. I am so proud to be here and working with the imagineNATIVE team, as well as the creative teams. This is well over my 10th year doing this, and it's extremely satisfying. Here's how today is going to work. We have 3 teams who will be pitching their projects for a grand prize of over $50,000 worth of support. And let me outline what that includes. A $30,000 web series license agreement from APTN, our lead sponsor, $12,000 for production prize money from the Bell Fund, $5,000 in-kind grant from William F. White, $1,600 in production prizing from imagineNATIVE, $1,000 of service certificates from Picture Shop and Formosa, 2 memberships to Women in Film and Television Toronto, and 2 passes to TIFF 2022. So how it will work is each team will have 7 minutes to present their project, their case, and then the jury will ask them any questions for clarification or expansion of ideas, and they'll have 7 minutes to do that, and then we'll hear from each team. We have 3 jury members joining us today, and I will ask each of them to introduce themselves and where they're coming from, and then we'll get right into it. So allow me to introduce you to Karen Tremblay.
Hi, my name is Karen Tremblay. I'm the manager of OTT, manager of programming for our OTT APTN Lumi. I would like to acknowledge that I work and live on the unceded territory of the Mohawk. I'm very happy to be here again for another edition of the APTN imagineNATIVE web series pitch. It's very exciting. I am sitting at my home work desk wearing a blue jumper, hair in a bun, and behind me there's a big window framed by yellow curtains.
Thank you, Karen. Kathleen, over to you.
Hi, my name is Kathleen Meek. I'm the manager of original content, factual and scripted for Chorus. I'm coming from to Toronto as well, and I have long brownish blondish hair and a green sweater, and in the backdrop is sort of white-ish color.
Thank you very much.
I feel very honored to be here, and thank you for including me.
Thank you very much. And we all, many of us have known Jason for many years, our former executive director of imagineNATIVE, Jason Ryle, our 3rd jury member.
Thanks, Deb. It's great to see you and everyone. Thanks for inviting me as well, Jamie Lee. I'm Jason Ryle. I'm Anishinaabe from Lake St. Martin First Nation in Manitoba, Treaty 2, based in Toronto. I'm currently an independent producer, curator, and arts consultant. And as Deb mentioned, I was the former executive director at imagineNATIVE. And the pitch events were always one of my favorite. Your creativity and your ideas. I'm super excited to hear your projects today. So thanks for inviting me.
Oh, this is great. All right, so I think here's where we'll get right into it. So I'm going to ask each of the pitch teams, you'll meet them as we go. So in the order of their pitching, please introduce yourselves and your background, and then you will have 7 minutes to make your pitch. Let's begin with Nova and Debbie Cruikshank.
Sure. My name is Nova Cruikshank. I'm joining today from Winnipeg, Manitoba. I am wearing a gray shirt. I have long, wavy black hair. I'm sitting on a gray couch with a blanket and 3 pillows.
Hi, I'm Debbie. I get the honor to join you from the traditional territories of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh. I have medium short brown hair, wavy, and I have a brick wall to the left and a painting to the right of me.
Okay. Let's begin the first pitch.
My name is Nova Cruikshank, and I'm joined by my partner in crime, Debbie, my sister. We have procreated many projects over the years. On this project, I'm the director and Debbie is the producer. We are here to pitch my concept for a 6-part web series with a panel discussion table talk with a host. The length of the episode is 10 minutes and is titled Missteps to Reconciliation. Our family is from Treaty 1 and Treaty 4 territory, respectively, Saugeen First Nation and Rolling River First Nation. I have the pleasure of introducing my sister. Debbie is dedicated to cultivating her arts career and creating space for BIPOC and LGBTQ2+ communities within the arts. Debbie has experience in film and TV. Productions include Moose Meat and Marmalade, work with Lantern Films, Inc., and most recently created Auntie in the Woods, and has a recent degree in communications from Simon Fraser University. A natural student of comedy with cunning wit and fearlessness, she's sure to bring her sisters, aunties, uncles, and family with her on her journey.
Hi, I'm Debbie. I'm the second half of Miss Go Way Productions. I'm introducing Nova, the director of Missteps to Reconciliation. Nova is a multifaceted artist. Her skill set holds no bounds. She works hard and has experience working in Canada's music scene, is a fascinating visual artist, a cultural facilitator at Frontier School Division, an assistant program manager at Native Youth Theatre Program, and a flautist. She's produced and directed a 7-part series for Native Youth Theatre at Manitoba Theatre for Young People named The 7 Sacred Stories and Teachings, which can be viewed on YouTube.
My inspiration for the web series is based on the natural gifts that creator has given our people when sharing verbal stories. Often when sharing stories, laughter happens, and laughter is contagious. It's a social aspect that plays an important role when you engage with others. If you're laughing, your nervous system puts the brakes on defensive stress responses like fight or flight. If you share a laugh, you'll feel happier, more positive, and more relaxed, even if you're unable to alter a stressful situation. My sister and I have supported Indigenous voices in the arts, and as we all know, creating can be cathartic and can often delve into exposing traumatic experiences on a path to healing. Our focus is comedy as a way of healing. By having our people retell their lived and authentic experiences in front of the camera, it offers a fresh perspective on examining uncomfortable exchanges between Indigenous and non-Indigenous folk, where the host and panel can offer teachable moments to those who are looking to connect with their Indigenous counterparts. I've taken the liberty to record my personal story relating to a close friend and performing artist, Wawate Fobister, who is Two-Spirit. I was working at the box office at Native Earth Performing Arts during Wawate's production of Agokwe. Agokwe is a contemporary tragic love story about 2 star-crossed Anishinaabe boys from neighboring reserves. It leads into an experience I had with a non-Indigenous woman who approached me. Here is a 45-second clip. When I was working at Native Earth Performing Arts in downtown Toronto, I was working the box office for Wawate Fobister's Agokwe, a one-person piece where Wawate explains and shares his experience as a gay person. It details him falling for another male on his reserve. So the play is pretty obvious that Wawate is gay. It's this wonderful piece that goes through all of his experiences and has different characters. Wawate's explaining his feelings and all of these characters on the res that sort of help him with this relationship. So after Wawate finishes his piece, we close the show down. Wawate comes out. He's mingling with the production company, with the audience members, and I'm counting change and I'm counting my tickets, making sure everything's ready to go. And I noticed this white lady inching closer and closer to me, and so she finally gets the courage to tap on my shoulder and say, excuse me, what does Two-Spirit mean? Does it mean like too much spirit?
The storyteller clip, much like this one, will be followed by a table talk of 4 panelists and a moderator, each chosen for their strong opposing opinions and humorous candor. The table talk's dialogue will take on a comedic tone and that derives from authentic conversations between the panelists, guided by a personality host like social media influencer Sherry McKay or stand-up comedian Stephanie Pengowish. Our primary audience for this will be Indigenous people, both male and female, ages 13 to 65, and settler women of European descent, ages 24 to 65, and people of color, ages 13 to 45. We chose these audiences to build bridges of understanding into Indigenous culture and traverse cultural barriers through collective understanding such as reciprocity, humor, and the authentic lived experiences. We'll be using the initial budget provided by APTN and Bell and other funding bodies as the initiating funds to support the development of the series and film the pilot. The development process begins with scouting for storytellers using our network in the arts and theater and using fixers and location scouts on reserves and in Indigenous communities. We aim to source the authentic storytelling elements through a documentary interview process. We'll be securing additional funds through other sources such as Canada Media Fund, Indigenous Screen Office, and Manitoba Music and Film to support the follow-through of the additional episodes. This fall, we were awarded a grant by the Toronto Arts Council to support the creation of a comedic storytelling of for an Indigenous sketch show that we call Indigigirl Comedy. Through this project, we have begun fostering relationships with hilarious Indigenous women who specialize in comedic storytelling with hopes to continue working with them on this project.
Our plan is to collect various stories that can be categorized within a set of themes and topics. Those topics are misconceptions, performative allyship, white passing, Indigenous and Métis experiences, questioning treaty status membership experiences, pretendians or race shifters, examples of how Indigenous people are expected to do free emotional labor, covert racism, appropriation. Elders would have their own to share any experiences they might have, humorous experiences, and an episode for LGBTQ2 spirit, and possibly, if there's time and space, non-Indigenous person to share their fumbled experiences with an Indigenous person. We just wanted to thank you for taking the time to watch our pitch, and that's everything.
Thank you very much. Well done. That was great. Congratulations. All right, Jason and Karen, and I see Kathleen, please, why don't we just, give me a signal if you would have a question for any clarifications. Karen.
Thank you so much for this pitch. It was very well done. So I guess my question for you both would be, given that you're explaining in your pitch that the first steps you're going to take if you win the prize is to develop a development phase, which will entail for a demo. So given that technically you would have to deliver the series within the next year, so it can be presented to the next edition to the festival, how do you think having to chase extra fund, how do you think, are you confident that you're going to be able to hit that mark for a full delivery within the year?
Yeah, I think we do. I think we have the skill set and experience in working with and securing grant funding to complete the work. It's something that we are processing now, even with Indigigirl, that we're in the constant extraction of finding other funding bodies to find resources to support our work.
And should you're not successful getting extra funding, do you have a fallback plan to make sure that you'll still be able to deliver your series?
Yes, not in tail right now, but we are excellent in executing and making sure all projects come to a complete through whatever resources we are able to accomplish and secure.
And and so like we're working on creating a production company right now too. So there are a few projects that are under that. So we know that financial management is important, imperative in getting and completing projects within the time frame.
Great. Jason, you had a question.
I did, yeah. Thanks, both of you. That was a great pitch, and I really like the idea. I think it's to me it feels like a very an appealing idea, certainly. And I'm curious about the tone of and the sort of look and feel. So, kind of two questions. I mean, when you were talking, two sort of shows came to mind, and I'm curious, kind of about which you're leaning more towards. Is it more kind of Red Table Talk, or more kind of like The View? Or is it something completely different?
No, but do you want to take that one?
Yeah, so I think it's the format would be we have a host, they introduce the topic, and then we cut to the Indigenous storyteller telling the story in a very animated way. We want it to look really artistic and really beautiful and really intimate. And then once that story has been displayed, then we have the table talk. Then we have the panelists discussing and dissecting the element and the topic with the host as the panel discussion leader, basically. And so they should be able to get into the conversation, crack open nuggets, and get those sort of concepts discussed in a way that is interesting and also kind of helps people understand from different examining from different angles. And so that panel would be all types of people. Debbie, did you want to maybe explain some of the panel people we had in mind?
Well, I think he's asking about the framework and how it will be shot. So we spoke about sending off video packages to the panelists so that we could have similar to a Zoom call in which a panel would be displayed through separate videos. We've also discussed having a round table where everyone in the panel would sit and talk, and then we would shoot the discussion on an AB camera setup.
Great. And I love that you're using comedy. I think it is a great mechanism and tool to talk about uncomfortable truths. And it's the comedy that I really want to know a bit more about in terms of the tone. If you can just sort of describe the comedy, and curious about kind of your edges. Like, how would you describe your comedy, and where are the edges? How far are you going to go, and what are the limitations on that?
Sure. So we have talked about this at end. I'm definitely more of like a conversationalist. And when it comes to my comedy, I insert it into like dark, humorous observations while a discussion's happening. And my sister is studying comedy in improv classes. And so we kind of want to bring all of that into the panel and the host. And we think a stand-up comedian would be a really great way to do that. We're not a part of the panel. We just we're the ones that are kind of directing everything and making sure that those kinds of comedy are being brought out. I also really wanted to honor any natural comedic timing that a storyteller would have. And so, because that was like the inspiration and the main part of my concept in those stories was to, when you sit down and you hear your cousin or your uncle or your grandpa tell a story and it's hilarious, that was the main part. And that is part of the comedy that I also want to be shown in the clip that we introduced to the panel.
And the conversations that I had by the panelists and comedians. So we would like to have a little bit more of a cutthroat moderator that is able to allow for the room for Indigenous humor and how we tease and make light of inappropriate questions that we may come across as an Indigenous people going through colonial cultures.
I wanted to say we have very little time left. I'm sorry, Kathleen, did you have a burning quick question, or are you okay? Did your questions get answered?
I just wanted to confirm the format. It's 10, you imagine 10 minutes roughly, and each episode is a different theme. And then, but the panelists that are reacting to the storyteller are both Indigenous and non-Indigenous. Is that correct? Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very, very much. Well done. I'm going to give you the virtual applause. So thank you, thank you. All right. Next, I'd like to introduce Whitney Horn. I will let you describe your background for us.
I'm John Peters, Teslin Tlingit Council. I am Tlingit. I have long black hair, wearing glasses, have a native design sweater on. My background is native designs.
Hey everybody, my name is Whitney Horn, Shawat Gahi. I'm an inland Tlingit Irish woman. I'm wearing a white shirt with a gray and white sweater, a gray hat, and I'm sitting beside John.
Okay, I'm going to give you the countdown and you can go into your pitch, all right? And I'll turn my camera off. And 3, 2, 1.
Hello, I am John Peters, Kokatong Clan, Inland Tlingit. I have video experience working with Northern Native Broadcasting Yukon. I've gone to school at CAP University. I've done a year there. I have a theatrical background. I've done a play with Evan Adams entitled The 60 Below. I love taking photographs, like my great uncle, George Johnson, who traveled to the coast, brought a camera back through the trails and took photos before the of the Alaska Highway.
Oh, goodness cheese, John. My name's Whitney Horn. I'm an emerging Indigenous content creator, citizen of Teslin Tlingit Council, and a woman of the Doklawadi clan. And I continue on my clan's storytelling and sewing customs. And I'm also very passionate about screenwriting. For this project, I am the writer, director, producer, and John is the director and director of photography. And we make a really great team working together, being from opposite clans. And we're able to increase the stories that we're able to bring to screen. And we've got a really good working relationship. This is going to be the first project that we're working on together, and we're hoping to bring our community into it. So I can't wait to share more details. The project is titled Jawene. It's an Indigenous horror series, and it is a psychological horror. Jawene is a young 8-year-old girl who lives in the forest with her blind elderly grandmother that she cares for. She's compelled by unforeseen forces to mistreat her grandmother, which leads to the old woman's transformation into an owl, and Jawene must face the consequences of her actions. This web series is made in 6 parts, 5 minutes for each episode. It's intended to be in Tlingit language. So as Tlingit language learners ourselves, we're going to be working with more knowledge keepers in the community, and there will be English subtitles. We are planning to make this web series on budget with the prize money provided. $50,000, and we're expecting a release date October 2022. I also want to say that this story has been in development for over 1.5 years now. It originally started as a short story that my grandmother used to tell me before bed, a scary story to keep us in line. Maybe you want to share the story about Dutch, John?
Dutch is a story that our elders used to tell us when we were kids. Especially at nighttime, they'd sit us around the fire and let us know that if we don't listen to our elders, that the Dutch, the owl, is going to come and pick us up and take us away to that mountain and take us away to their nest and keep us there. This is the stories they used to tell us as kids around the campfire. Now we're bringing it into the new age and telling it on the computer and bringing it to the world.
There are many stories from Indigenous nations about owls, and this is entirely from an inland Tlingit perspective. Because of the sensitive cultural nature of the content, and because we want to keep it as accurate as possible or respectful as possible of our community, we have been working with elder advisors in the development to date. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but it was developed through the Whistler Film Festival Indigenous Filmmaker Fellowship. And I'm just really so excited that it's evolved to this point. The story, we've already got 3 seasons written for it. It's just taking on a life of its own. So I'd really like to walk you through the characters. As I mentioned, young Joanne, she's a very hardworking young girl. In the absence of parents, she must work even harder. This causes her to become resentful, and she starts talking back to her grandmother, making faces, always playing mean tricks on the old woman. Even though her grandmother is very blind and elderly, she still weaves baskets from memory. A long time ago, before metal pots and pans, this was our key to survival. Spruce root baskets. They'd be used to carry water, cook in. So cooking baskets is something that I study at the University of Southeast Alaska right now, and I'm very interested in revitalizing this practice. So one of the things that we're going to do, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build a long ago camp, and we're going to hire local actors, and we're going to use live action filming layered with animation and a very immersive northern soundscape to bring this series together. And really the first episode, Joanne, she wakes up from a bad dream after her grandmother tells her a scary story. And as the series progresses later into the day, she eventually makes a bad wish that the spirits in the forest hear, and they make it come true. So there's a lot of lessons in this series. And John, would you like to share some of them? Like,
a lot of the lessons in the story it's a horror, but it's also a learning experience. It's learned the importance of respecting our elders, and you got to be careful of what you wish for in life, and to also to pay attention to your dreams. All of our dreams have meaning, as our elders say.
Ganesh Chish.
Ganesh Chish, thank you.
And here's a clip of our video, Joanne.
Thank you so much. That was great. Well done. I'm inviting Kathleen, Jason, and Karen. Great. Have you got any questions for Whitney or John?
I'll go. That was awesome, you guys. Like, such a cool visual treatment and great story. I just was curious if you could talk a bit more about what happens to her once her grandmother leaves her and she's alone. Sort of, where does the story take her, and how the owl, the representation of her grandmother, is she still there, present, and is she able to communicate with her, or is she truly on her own? Like, sort of, where does the story go after that that happens?
Thanks, Kathleen. That's a great question. Yes, the old woman owl, she really is able to continue caring for her granddaughter, even in this form. And she does take pity on her granddaughter. So she is alone, but she still has help. But her grandmother's only able to help her at night, is one of the key things. So she really has to fend for herself. And basically, as soon as that as the transformation happens, Joanne becomes so frightened that she trips over the root basket that they were cooking dinner in, and she hits her head on a rock, which actually kills her. And the old woman owl has to travel into the spirit world to bring her back to the land of the living. And so this is when Joanne, learns very, very hard lessons from a young age. And she is really upset the spirits of the forest. And she has to continue facing the consequences of this, just being, having difficulty hunting, gathering food. Like, she has to work very hard to earn back the respect of these spirits.
Thanks, Kathleen. Yes, Karen.
Amazing pitch. Thank you so much. So I guess my question would be, so if I understand properly, it would be the main storyline is a continuous storyline from each episode to episode, and then there's the kind of a sub line that is a lesson by episode. Is that?
Yes, each episode is continuous, and there's a bunch of overarching lessons that are part of it. Really, it's the story of unconditional love between a grandparent and grandchild. And it's also, just reminders about be careful what you're wishing for. Be kind to your elders. Like, more than ever, we're realizing the importance of elder care, and both John and I, we take that responsibility very seriously, and we care for many elders in our family and community. And so just passing those important messages along, as well as paying attention to your dreams. So many of us are getting messages and we might not be open to receiving them. And I think that's when a lot of trouble happens. So just keeping these lessons going and using digital media as a way to continue Tlingit teachings and our way of life.
Thank you.
Congrats, Whitney and John. That was a very good pitch, and I love anything that sort of adds to the horror genre, and certainly welcome. So great to see that. Just a quick question first. Sorry, I missed. Is this an animated series or live action?
It's both. It's animation and live action combined.
Okay, great.
I'm a multimedia artist, and John is the cameraman. He's really passionate about being behind the camera. So we thought, how can we combine all this?
So is it going to be integrated on the screen, or is it going to be like animated sequences or like flashbacks or outside of the live action world, or is it going to be like integrated into the live action?
Like, we've talked about it being integrated. We're going to use a very artistic approach for the delivery. I'm just going to let John, work his magic with the cinematography. He's in his budget. He keeps disappearing.
Sorry.
Yeah, and then just respond to the live action footage layered with animation, and really the magic comes out in the editing and the soundscape that we're going to create locally.
That sounds great. I mean, it's really exciting to hear that. I mean, it's going to be, I think, it sounds like it's going to be something very visual on screen. And the other question I had, so you have 6 5-minute episodes, so there's not a lot of real estate necessarily. So when you're looking at second season, does it continues with the same characters, with Joanne and her grandmother? Are we ending on a kind of cliffhanger, or is each season kind of nicely wrapped and then it takes on a different spin in the second season?
So at the end of each season, it is somewhat wrapped up, but it's still somewhat a bit of a cliffhanger. So you're wondering, what's going to happen to this girl at the end of first season? And as we tune into the second season, 4 years have gone by. And so she is on her journey to becoming a young woman, and things start happening. She starts going through these menstrual rituals that her grandmother has to guide her through in her dreams. And her grandmother's really still trying to advise her and help her through this. But Joanne doesn't like to listen. She learns lessons the hard way. So she still has some challenges that she has to face. And during this time, other shape-shifting suitors start to, come into contact with her. So it is an ongoing struggle. In the third season, her grandmother takes pity on her and actually takes her to a nearby village so she can be among people. So there is a shift from the forest into the village, and she realizes that life has been going on in this village. There is now metal pots and pans, and her root basket has become obsolete.
Thank you. Any other questions from the jury? A few seconds left. No? Congratulations. Well done. Another applause. Thank you very, very much. All right. I am going to ask our next team, Sean and Danny. There we go. So we'll do your introduction and your backgrounds, and then we'll go into your pitch. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Danny Knight. I'm wearing a snapback hat and a black collared shirt, and I'm a Cree Nahia.
Hi, I'm Sean Cuthan, and I'm wearing a black collared shirt with long braided hair and some native stubble. And we're from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and we're sitting in front of a white background. And we want to play our pitch video for you right now. Ha!
Hey everybody, I'm Danny Knight, and this is my good friend Sean Cuthan. We're comedians from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Treaty 6 baby, and we've been working on a satirical news site with our friend and comedian Ryan Moccasin for the last couple of years. Together, we are The Feather, a satirical news show. I am your host, writer, lead director, Danny Knight, and this is my on-field correspondent, writer, co-director, Sean Cuthan, also known as Sean Loose Moose. Our Ugamau is Ryan Moccasin. That's executive producer for The Colonized. And we pay much respect and honor to Muscola Ra, our editor, Kapwe Itwatim. Our show is 15 by 6, which means it's 15 minutes long, 6 episodes wide. And if you can't tell by now, our genre is comedy. We disarm the audience through the funny bone.
We have been working on this as a passion project for 3 years, with a past catalog of videos full of comedy sketches and monologues, as well as fake commercials and interviews. We're the uncles that time forgot, and we speak up for the uncles that just won't shut up. We're doing this because there's This Hour Has 22 Minutes and the Rick Versa Report, while This Hour has 22 moons, and eagles don't fly with seagulls, and any time is Indian time. All these shows have their unique voice, but we feel that The Feather has its own voice that deserves to be heard. That's why we are here. We are like This Hour, except more deadly and entirely indigenous. Our aim is catching people with laughter first, which opens them up more to receive the information that The Feather is serving. We want to showcase the indigenous experience in Canada through comedy by being a spiritual successor of The Chappelle Show and may contain nuts, but delivered to you in the format of The Daily Show.
We've been self-produced for the past 3 years, and by doing so, have gained valuable experience in the trade of web series production. If you watch our first video, all the way to our last video, you'll see that the quality is growing in all aspects, such as production, writing, and acting. The team at The Feather is dedicated to the cause of airing our stories from our perspective. And with APTN, that broadens our capacity. I've been a storyteller all my life, using different mediums such as music, theater, and comedy. I've toured across Canada, performing as a musician and an actor, and also the US. I've actually directed plays locally, and I've been commissioned by the CBC to write poems about elections and Canada Day. But now it's time for my comedy and directorial eye to reach the national stage. And if The Feather and APTN team up, well, that becomes a possibility.
I have been into stand-up comedy and performing for the past 4 years, and with that I've expanded into creating short Super 8 films, as well as a project from the National Arts Center called Indigenous Cities. Lately I've also written articles for CBC's opinion section, as well as produced a local stand-up comedy show for the 2021 YXC Fringe. The Feather allows me to push my artistic boundaries as a writer and a performer, and pushes me to put myself out there creatively. In the past 3 years, Many different wandering eyes have watched our videos on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok, and have caught the millennials and Gen X by storm. Most of those eyes were from the younger audience, about 19 to 45, but we do have some room for the older folks. We know that there is an appetite for what we do, and what we need to do is take the production and marketing of the show to the next level. The season is currently in its creation phase with episodes already mapped out. It will be episodic with the theme of speaking truth to power. The tone is sarcastic, and it will reveal historical truths through comedy. Each episode is laid out as follows: a top 10 list, on-location interview, a commercial, a sketch, and a monologue.
With each episode, we will discuss current events, and we will feature historical events through a time machine segment that will focus on the triumphs and losses of Indigenous people, which leads to including some of our ancestral language in these segments. For example, picture the treaty signings, but all in Cree. We aim to involve local theater artists and comedians. We love working with comedians because they bring their own flavor to the roles that we make. And we love working with theater artists because their dedication to the craft is inspiring. And with this budget, we'll be able to pay our actors and ourselves industry rates. Our editor, Musco Lara, works with youth and would love to include mentorship with comedic video editing, acting, and production experience. This way, we can nurture new artists here in Saskatchewan and provide some work experience in the film industry. This will be an entirely Indigenous production, aside from a few mooney owls that we need for skits.
Previously, our work has been funded by the Sask Arts Board and the Indigenous Screen Office, and we are partnered with Paved Arts. While all that being sufficient, we haven't been able to spread our wings and fly. The budget for this production is significantly higher than anything we have worked on before, and because of that, we will be able to dedicate an appropriate amount of time and turn this into our 9 to 5, which will help us take our episodes to the next level. We are used to working in poverty and with minimal time, but we'd like to have a craft services table. We'd like to stop and smell that KFC gravy.
Good.
We believe that a huge positive with our production is that it is evergreen, being that we move along with the ever-changing landscapes of Canada. There will always be content to create.
Without further ado, here's a trailer for The Feather and what we do.
Welcome to Season 2 of The Feather. Their deadliness should be seen for miles. Just kidding.
We're gonna put the public at ease, and that's for sure.
I hope you're ready.
Okay.
They fought the Saskatchewan government. That's ballin'.
Racist, racist. That's the level of decolonized I am.
And they have a high stakes bingo. Every white person is a
Hola.
We here at The Feather are foolish.
Don't listen to them?
Wait, no, that's not right.
Wow, that sounds terrible.
Terrific, I know.
Thank you. Congratulations. Nice work.
Thank you.
That's great. Jason, Kathleen, and Karen, over to you with questions. Who'd like to kick it off?
Great pitch, guys.
Karen.
Thank you.
I was laughing, honestly. I was laughing. You couldn't see me, but I was, definitely we need to laugh these days. So it's very, your pitch was very refreshing. So about the language portion, so can you tell me more about it? Like do you see it as being the presence of the Cree has been being like 80% or segment or all the way through each episode, or will it be a specific a segment, or is it going to be like dusted all over?
It'll be centralized to a segment. We had wanted to do like a whole episode in like Cree, but that's super ambitious. So we decided to scale it down. So it'd be like in one episode, maybe 3 different segments in 3 different episodes. So yeah, so 3 segments altogether, sprinkled throughout 3 episodes. And I guess as we get closer to in our time machine segments, as we get closer to the time of today, the less language would be in it. But the ones we do about like the fur trade or the treaty signings, those would be like super in creative, and we would do the language that we would use the language that is here to our treaty territory, Cree or Michip, maybe even a little bit of Ojibwe.
Yeah, and we would be keeping it in the family as well, because we would be using Danny's mom as our interpreter.
Yeah, and then there's also the Saskatchewan Indigenous Cultural Center, who like we all know a bunch of people there, and they love us, and we'd love to work with them too.
Wonderful. And I know that you've mentioned that it would be each episode would have kind of a little bit touching on current event. So I was just curious to see if you had given any thought of this being a streaming a web series about the life, the shelf life of your series.
Yeah, so actually, with our last season that we produced ourselves, we actually live streamed each episode, and it was super cool and super fun to do it like that. And for right now, we're working on our next season, which is season 4, which is funded by the Sask Arts Board and the Indigenous Screen Office. And that one we're trying a new timeline of working where we produce everything within a week, we edit it, and then we release it on a day, and then we do that for the next 6 weeks. Is that 6? Yeah, 3 episodes. Yeah, so we're releasing our first episode October 29th, and we're doing a big. We rented out the Roxy Theater here in Saskatchewan, and we're doing a big event for it. And then the next following 2 releases for episodes will just be live streamed from my house. Yeah.
Thank you.
A great job, both of you guys. That was a lot of fun to see. I'm familiar with some of the videos in the past too, so it's great to see that you're thinking of something slightly larger with these things. One of the questions I have is just in regards to the sketches themselves. And are there going to be recurring or established characters in those sketches over the season, or are you looking at one-offs per sketch?
Yeah, we're going to have some recurring characters, as well as like different actors that will play different characters. But like for me, I'm playing the correspondent Sean Moose Moose. So like I'm like an on-field reporter. I do like investigative pieces sometimes, and then we have like other comedian actors and from the Saskatoon scene that we bring in as characters as well. And so, yeah, we definitely plan to have some recurring characters in there.
Yeah, I think my favorite one that we plan to bring back is like a parody of Alex Jones. We've named him Alan Cones, and he's super funny. He's super like off the wall. So he's a recurring character. Another type is Wokeberg. It's like that one friend who's super woke, but he's like totally not woke. So he's how we can make fun of all these performative allyship people. He's a recurring character. But we also do have one-offs, like what's his name, Mrs. Buttersworth. She's this ice cream entrepreneur, but it was just like a fun little one skit. And yeah, so a little bit of both. Yeah.
Awesome, that's great. And I had a similar comment too as Karin's, just in regards to shelf life and you know, satiring current affairs or satiring aspects of society, performative culture, you know, popular culture that may have a longer shelf life. So, I mean, it sounds like you guys have a year to that, but that's something that did occur to me to ask. So I'll pass it on to Kathleen.
That was great, you guys, and it's awesome because you have such a clear vision of what you want to do, and you've clearly been already in the space for a while. Could you just tell me a little bit more of what? So already you've done a couple of seasons of this or of different shows, and you're sort of bringing this together. And I was also curious about your footprint right now digitally. Like, I know you're both performers and have an audience, but like, have you built up what kind of audience have you built up already as performers online in terms of followers, in terms of just your kind of footprint right now?
Well, I think that's where this whole pitch competition is what we hope to elevate us with, because like we've been putting out content, but our numbers are pretty low.
Yeah.
And so we need that marketing to get, so that we can get views on YouTube and all that.
And also, like, if we were to partner with APTN and imagineNATIVE, it would just give us that stamp of approval for others in our community to really like raise us up even higher. But right now we're sitting at like, is it 3,000 or maybe 2,000 followers on Facebook, We got like 3,000 followers on TikTok and like maybe a couple hundred followers on Instagram. We had almost like 40,000 followers on TikTok, but then one of our accounts got banned because we did this sketch called The Sex Lodge, which was like a parody of an indigenous porn website. And so we're learning where our boundaries are, right?
Yeah.
So we didn't
That's
show
good.
anything, but we just made jokes about it. And that was enough to get us blown up off of TikTok. So we have a new account. It's not doing as strong as it was before, but yeah, so we are a little bit underseen by the Canadian public and the national stage.
And so is TikTok, like your preferred platform is which one? Would be YouTube, or is TikTok, like in terms
Our
of?
preferred platform right now for the amount of engagement we can get with our community is Facebook, doing Facebook live streams. We do re-release all our videos on YouTube and we do little snippets on TikTok. So it's kind of like a multi-pronged approach. It's like, here's a 30-second video for TikTok. Here's a 21-minute live stream for Facebook. And here's each of our episodes released in segments on YouTube.
Thanks, Danny. Thanks, Sean. Thank you, everyone. Congratulations. Can we have everybody's cameras back on? Well done. That brings us to the conclusion of our pitches. What's going to happen now is the jury is going to meet privately, and then all the award winners will be announced at the closing awards ceremony, which is this Sunday, the 24th, from 8 to 9:30, and you can go to the imagineNATIVE Festival website to tune in and check it out. So I wish all of the teams every success, and know that even just having this platform and this introduction is taking a great step to getting your creative projects out there, and hopefully will bring in more partnerships, interest, and opportunities for all of you. So congratulations, and thank you very much to imagineNATIVE for this platform, APTN for their sponsorship, and Bell Fund, and jury, thank you very much for being here as well. Have a great festival, and good luck, Miigwech.
Yeah, Tiki.